So, good afternoon, everyone. I am Jumeline Aluyan, and I will be discussing the guidelines and as well as the principles and the 8 golden rules of the human computer interface.
So, hi guys, my name is Lordin Emmanuel Gideran, and I am going to discuss the theories of human computer interface.
So, our topic would be about the guidelines, principles, and theories. But first, let's talk about the guidelines. So, designers improve the user interface by applying established guidelines to clean up cluttered displays, inconsistent layouts, and unnecessary text. So, design guidelines fall into several groups, including the first is the style, which includes the brand logos and colors, the layout, which includes the grid or list structure, the user interface components, the menus and buttons, and then the text, which includes the font, and accessibility and design patterns. So just like when we are sick, no, we immediately drink medicine to cure or prevent the disease or the illness. So when we talk about human computer interface, the theories, principles, and guidelines offer preventive medicine and remedies for the designers, no, for those problems that they are encountering when they are creating the interface or the system. So this is an example of the design guidelines of Apple Watch. So on the first picture, you can see there it's a workout button, and it says that it focuses one button at a time so that people can start a workout with one tap. So the purpose of this is that para ang mga tao is dili bitaw sila ma-confuse kay the Apple Watch gamay ra na iyahang space, no, and i-compare nimo sa mga laptops or sa mga phones. So that is why one button at a time lang siya, and it only display essential information. On the second picture, you can see there the weather, the time, and the temperature, which is arranged in a circular manner. So the weather arranges current temperature and conditions in a form that fits the watch face. And the last picture you can see there, it's a noise update of the Apple Watch, and it's a real-time meter, and there is a message that will prompt whether the noise increases or decreases. So the purpose of guidelines are the following. First is navigating the interface, organizing the display, getting the user's attention, and facilitating data entry. So we will be discussing this one by one, but first, let's talk about the navigating the interface. So from the word navigate, it means moving from one place to another. So kanang mga hikers sa mga mountains or mga forest, and kanang mga sailors, they use this one thing, which is the compass, for them to navigate. So when we talk about human computer interface, no, ang kaning guidelines, it serves as a compass for the users so that we will not be confused, and we know how to use or operate, no, the system or the interface. So this is the Samsung watch, and this is their guidelines on how to navigate the interface, and it says there that they only display essential information just like the Apple Watch, as what I have discussed a while ago. So this is the Spotify list music in a simple structure, allowing users to navigate playlists intuitively. So that is an example. Next is organizing the display. So this is an example of the display design guidelines of the Samsung Galaxy Edge, which users can open panels through the handle while the screen is turned on, and the buttons show the corresponding setting screen of the panels. So you can see there the picture which comes with an arrow. So that is an example of the design guidelines, no, of the display of the Samsung Galaxy Edge. Next is getting the user's attention. So how do you get the user's attention? So first is by the intensity. So this refers to the intensity of light in your phone, and it is recommended to use 2 levels only with limited use of high intensity to draw attention. So dapat dili kayo too much intensity of light because it might cause fatigue to the users. Next is marking. So the picture there is an example of Instagram, and I know that most of you are familiar with this application. So it is like Facebook, but it's more on highlighting pictures. So you can see there an arrow that is the message inbox, and the bookmark is the bookmark button. So this means to say that if you like the picture, you just simply press that bookmark symbol, and then it will immediately put into your saved albums to your profile. Next is the comment box, and then the heart is likes. But there are also other ways for marking, just like if you want to underline the item, enclose it in a box, point to it with an arrow, or use indicators such as asterisk, bullet, dash, plus sign, or X. And you could also use symbols just like in Instagram. Next is the size and choice of font. So you can see there, no, this is an Shopee application, and you can see there, no, the biggest font is the platform-wide free shipping vouchers. So definitely, if I open the Shopee application, and mao dyan ni akong una makita because the font is really big and napagid siya sa upper part naka-display. So definitely, it will really attract the user's attention. And you can see there are different font sizes, and the choice of font is really good. No, it's readable and delicious sakit sa mata. So you also have to consider this factor. Next is the blinking display. So use blinking display or blinking color changes with great care and in limited areas, because if you are using too much blinking display in your interface, no, it might be distracting or it can trigger seizures. So you can see here kanang murag nay mga lightning, no. So this is a Candy Crush, that is an example of blinking display. So I I played actually the Candy Crush and the Nagi blinking display, but it's not distracting at all. So that is also one way on how you are going to get the user's attention. Next is the color. So it is recommended to use up to four standard colors only, and the perfect example for this is the Google. So you can see there the Google logo, and you can see that it has only four colors, which is blue, red, orange, and green. Next is the audio. So just like sa Shopee, no, kanang mutingog bitaw sa inyong phone na Shopee, no, mubo lang siya but kusugi ang tingog. So definitely it would really catch the user's attention. So use only soft tones for regular positive feedback and harsh sounds for rare emergency conditions. Next is facilitating data entry. So there are actually high level goals for data display when we are talking about data entry. So this is an example of Facebook now when you are going to sign up for an account. So there is a consistency of data entry transactions. So yes, there is a consistency. It's because naka-arrange gid siya no, and very consistent siya sa iyahang mga information, the name, your number, password, birthday, and gender. And then minimal input actions by the users. So wala kayo siya daghan kutino, so you just fill up and then click lang sign up. So making a choice by a single mouse selection or finger press is preferred over typing in a lengthy string of characters. So it is actually annoying for users to enter the same information in two locations. So you also have to consider that one. Next is minimal memory load on users. So when doing data entry, users should not be required to remember lengthy list of codes. So you can see here's the Facebook. Does it require lengthy list of codes? No. So definitely there is a minimal memory load on users. Next is compatibility of data display with data entry. So the format of data entry information should be linked closely to the format of the displayed information. So you can see here no birthday. So dapat mag-add sad kag buttons which includes the month. the date and the year. So dili lang pwede na month lang ibutang diha kay a birthday really requires month, date, and then the birthday. So same as with the gender, you're going to put there a button female, male, and or custom for other genders. And lastly is the flexibility for user control of data display. So experienced users prefer to enter information in a sequence that they can control. So an example for this sa sign up application here is Facebook is the birthday and gender no kay. You're just going to press na kanang nakita ninyo di nga September and automatically it will show all the months no from January to December and it's up to you no to choose on what month of you. So next is the principles. So the golden principle in HCI is that people should come first. Nga naman, because underlying the whole theme of HCI is the belief that people using a computer system should come first. Their needs, capabilities, and preferences for conducting various tasks should direct developers or the designers in a way that they design the system. So people should not have to change the way that they use a system in order to fit in with it. Instead, the system should be designed to match the requirements, no? Kung sa Bisaya pa, dili kita mga users, no, ang mag-adjust para mo fit in sa system. Dapat ang system mooy mag-adjust para sa mga users because then again, a system is designed to match the user's requirements and satisfaction. So this is an example of the design principles of Samsung Galaxy Edge. So on the first pic, no, on the left side, that is the quick access type. It is the access path of frequently used tasks or application, and it allows users to access tasks from any screen. So kanang middle na picture you can see there, I think it's a compass, northwest 330 degrees. So that is a quick view type. It allows users to access and check information at any time without having to open application. And lastly, the last pic on the right side, it is the quick control type. It allows users to control tasks without having to open application. So that is an example of principle. But why HCI principles are important? So HCI is very critical. It's very critical and very kutigid siya, no? Uh, if you are a designer or a developer because there are a lot of factors and considerations that you must do. So, kaning mga principle necessary gid siya, it's because to ensure a success, a safe and functional interface or system. And at the same time, it will make the user's experience more enjoyable in the long term. So the first principle is that you must know the skill level of your users. And there are three types of user skill level. So first is the novice or first time users. So I will give you an example now on my personal experience. So I actually played Mobile Legends for the first time and I got confused on how to play it even though na mga instructions on how to play but still galibog yapon ko unsaon siya and there are too much mga good actions and buttons to press no and wala gid ko nakasabot so ang ending is akong gi-uninstall and wala na jud ko nagdula balik so ang kaning mga first time users just like me no when I played Mobile Legends we have shallow knowledge of the interface concepts. So overcoming the user's uncertainties via instructions or dialog boxes is a serious challenge to interface designers. The number of actions should also be small so that the first time users can carry out simple tasks successfully. Carefully designed video demonstrations and online tutorials may be effective. Next is the knowledgeable intermittent users. So, maghatag yapon example as my personal experience no nakaagi naman gid kog Windows 8 and Windows 10. So katong paggamit na nako aning Windows 10 'no, medyo galibog ko. Though I know how the Windows work ug unsay iyahang mga interface concept, but medyo galibog ko kung aha dapit na ang settings, aha ko mag-change sa theme kay 'di ba there are some slightly changes no sa Windows 8 and then sa Windows 10. So kaning mga knowledgeable intermittent users no, they have a broad knowledge of interface concepts, but they might have difficulty retaining the structure of menus or the location of features. So next is the expert frequent user. So from the word itself, expert, no? So meaning maayo na gid kay na sila nga mga users. These kind of users are already thoroughly familiar with the tasks and the interface concepts, and most of the time no dali ra kay sila mahuman kay kabalo naman sila unsaon no. Just like my friend who is very expert no in using the Adobe Photoshop. So wala siya actually nagpa-enroll this year and then nag-work at home ra siya, and he got so many clients no from different countries kay maayo gid siya mag-edit og photos or mga posters gamit ang Adobe Photoshop. So that is an example of an experienced frequent users. So next is identify the tasks. No. So this is an example no sa Google Assistant. A Google Assistant is actually an artificial intelligence powered virtual assistant developed by Google, and that is primarily available on mobile and smart home devices. So I have a Google Assistant sa akong phone, and pag mag-ingon lang kog hey Google play me a movie no mugawas din ang diretso og list of movies, and also pidi nimo sugo na si Google na igno nimo na hey Google, open Facebook. So I don't need na to open my phone and go to Facebook. But when I immediately say, hey Google, go to Facebook, mo diretso ra na open ang Facebook. So ingana siya kadali, no? You could also say na, hey Google, turn off Wi-Fi. So immediately mo turn off ra na siya Wi-Fi automatically. So no, as a designer, you also have to consider the tasks sa imong ginahimo na interface. Just like kaning sa Google Assistant, no, ang similar ani sa Google Assistant is the Siri and Alexa. So when talking about identifying the task, there are three types of actions. First is the frequent actions, such as pressing special keys like the four arrow keys, insert, and delete. So nga nang gitawagan man ni sila frequent actions kay usually mo mong guding kakahitabo no sa mga users no nga usay ga kamali ta. So definitely kanang delete na button is nananadaan sa atong keyboard, and then as well as no sa Microsoft Word na undo and redo kay mo man gid na usually gakahitabo mo galing gitawag siya frequent actions. So next is the less frequent action. So dili kay siya ingana usually gakahitabo sa mga users no, so mo lang gitawagan siya less frequent. Just like for example gusto ko mag-type human computer interface, and kanang interface is gusto na ko siya i-bold, so just simply press right click and then i-press nimo ng B if you want the text to be bold, or if you want to change the font or the font size. So those are the examples of less frequent actions. But when we talk about infrequent actions, those are already mga complex actions. Just like when you want to change the page orientation, the page margin, the page setup, or if you want to revise the default printer. So those are the examples. Next is you also have to choose the interaction style. So there are different types of interaction style, and one of those is the direct manipulation, which was introduced by Ben Schneiderman, an American computer scientist. So it captures the idea of direct manipulation of the object of interest. So which means that the object of interest are represented as distinguishable objects in the user interface and are manipulated in a direct fashion. So para mas masabtan, this is an example sa direct manipulation kaning sa paint. No, anong gitawagan mo siya direct manipulation? It's because na magudaan diha ang mga buttons. So you can see their brushes. Pag imo na i-click ang brushes, there are different styles of brushes na mugawas, and then mupili lang dayon ka. That goes the same with the shapes, the size, the color, no? Direkta lang ka. Pag i-click nimo, manipulate na dayon siya diretso. So here are the advantage and disadvantage. Ang advantage niya is present task concepts, easy learning, easy retention. Nganong easy retention man kay dali ra gyud nimo siya madumduman no kay na naman naka-display naman daan ang mga buttons na naka-arrange na siya and it's already made available. And allow errors to be avoided, yes, because there is an eraser button and encourages exploration and high subjective satisfaction. But ang iyang disadvantage is maybe hard to program and accessibility requires special attention. Another example of the interaction style is the menu selection. So kani siyang example nga nasa kaning picture is the notepad, no? So ang iyahang advantage is shortens learning, reduces keystrokes, structures decision making, allows easy support of error handling. But ang iyahang disadvantage is it presents danger of many menus and then may slow frequent users and requires rapid display rate. So, mo ni siyang example no sa menu selection ka ng mga file button pag ituplok na ko ng edit na dahil mo gas na undo, redo, cut, copy, paste. So, that is an example sa menu selection. Another example is the form fill-in. So, kanang picture diha is online application sa Comelec. Ang iyahang advantage is simplifies data entry, convenient assistance. Yes, it is very convenient para sa mga users. Kayo just fill in lang, you just type your name and then choose your sex, civil status, and permits use for management tools. And then the disadvantage is consume screen space. Another example is the command language. I know we are all familiar with this when we are first year, no? So, ang iyahang advantage is it's powerful and easy scripting and history keeping, but ang iyahang disadvantage is requires learning and retention nga naman. Dili tanan maayo sa command language, dili tanan kabalo mag create og command language. So that is why it really requires learning and retention. At the same time, error prone siya. Mamali lang ka isa sa command language, di ba? Dili na siya mo function. So dili na dai na siya mag-work automatically. So mo lang na ang iyahang disadvantage. Next is the natural language. So unsa maning natural language? So the natural language is actually an interface that will allow you to interact with your device operating system using your own spoken language. So to better understand, here is an example, no, and this is ang kaning natural language is very common sa mga business shop. So you can see here a chatbot and then ang customer no nag-chat ang chatbot og hello, may I help you? So there are also buttons that check availability, how long does delivery take, and other issues. And then, ang gi-choose na yun sa user is how long does delivery take, and then nag-send na yun si chatbot og please tell me your address, and then the user type her address, and then the chatbot replied na delivery will take 2 to 3 days. So kaning chatbot, it's like kanang mag-interact sila sa atong device using your own spoken language. No, you can see there, ang iyahang gina-send sa chatbot is in an English language, kanang language na masabtan sa user. So, mo na siya ang natural language. So, ang iyang advantage is relieves burden of learning syntax, no? Dili kay siya burden sa users kay chatbot by automatic na siya mo gawas and function. But iyang disadvantage is requires clarification dialogue, may not show context, and may require more keystrokes and unpredictable. So now I will be discussing the 8 golden rules of interface design. So first is strive for consistency. In other words, use all elements across your application consistently. For example, a certain style of button should always do the same thing or navigation should function logically. So there should be a consistency of functionality, appearance, and terminology. So an example for this is the Pinterest application. No? So, pag mag-open ka sa Pinterest, no, there is really consistency kay nakalain-lain na siya folder and then a different symbol also have different functions. So, you really need to be consistent para dili ma-confuse ang users and para mas dali sa ilang part no unsaon pag-navigate and paggamit. So next is the seek universal usability. So this means to say that you have to recognize the needs of users. Using features for the first time users such as explanations and features for experts such as shortcuts and faster pacing enriches the interface design and improves perceived quality. So for example, when we play Plants vs. Zombie, di ba naman na siya trial and mga instructions, no? Para kung kita first time users ta, makasabot taon saon siya pagdula. So munang buot pasabot sa SEEK universal usability, dapat magamit siya sa tanan. And you also have to consider that as a designer. Next is the offer informative feedback. So the system should always keep users informed about what is going on. Don't keep the users guessing. Tell the user what is happening. Users don't like surprises. The user wants to be in control and trust that the system behaves as expected. So an example sa informative feedback is that upload successful, saving failed, update available, and user deleted. So imagine if there is no informative feedback sa interface, no? And I want to send a photo sa ako ang friend through Bluetooth. So kung saan ako pagkabalo nga na-send siya or na-fail, so maghulata lang ko lugar. So mo na importante jud kaayo nga naay informative feedback no to inform the users of what is going on unsa na di ay na failed ba siya or upload successful ba siya or the user deleted na ba siya. So those are the examples sa informative feedback. Next is design logos. So the system should speak the user's language. Sequence of actions should be organized into groups with a beginning, middle, and end. So when a process is finished, remember to display a notification message. So let the user know that she has done all that's needed. So for example, no, pag mag-shop ta sa Shopee, first ana is na add to cart button. Pag add to cart button, then check out na dayon and then place order. So pag place order nimo na day na dialog makabutang na successful ang imuhang pag-place sa order. So that is an example sa design dialogues. You need to let the user know that she has all done kung unsay kailanganon. So next is the prevent errors. Users hate errors and they even hate it more if they have that feeling that they themselves have done something wrong. So it's either eliminate error-prone conditions or check for them and notify users about that before they commit to the action. If an error is made, the system should be able to detect the error and offer a simple, comprehensive mechanism for handling the error. So this is an example, no? If you're going to tweet on Twitter, there is a limit of characters, no, to post. So, parehas ani kaning gi-circle na number one, that means to say nga you have to delete one character para makatweet ka. So, that is an example sa prevent errors. Another example is this one no sa site no. They are asking for email address and then imo rang gibutang is test. So, naday nay mag butang na something message to prevent the error which says the email address entered is invalid. So, that is an example sa preventing errors. It's either eliminate error-prone conditions or it includes sa interface na to notify the users for the call to action no para dili sila makommit sa kung unsa to nga mistake para makahibalo ang users aha di sila mamali og unsa ilang buhaton para dili to maka-commit ato nga mistake. Next is permit easy reversal of action. So from the word itself, reversal, meaning pwede pa ka mubalik, no? So for example, kaning typewriter versus Microsoft Word. Sa typewriter, if mag-type ta, mamali lang ka isa ana, you have to take the paper out and then balik ka pinaka-start. Whereas ang kaning Microsoft Word, pag mamali ka, pwede ra nimo i-delete, i-edit because there are already available buttons naman, no? Undo, redo, delete, insert. So, that is an example sa reversal of actions. So, kaning sa Gmail, no? ilahang reversal of action is kaning undo if you don't want to send the message kinakay na dumduman nga naday mali no sa imong message, so you just press that undo. So muna ang example sa reversal of actions. Dapat sa imong interface, you must allow reversal of actions, no? If ever makakommit og mistake ang user, so pwede pa niya ma-outro or pwede pa niya mabalik, no? So ingana siya. Next is keep users in control. So then again, no, users love to have in control with the interface. And these are the examples sa keeping users in control kanang mga word shortcuts, no? Pag press na ako control C, copy na siya diretso, control V, paste. So those are the examples, no, sa keeping the users in control. Next is reduce short-term memory load. Recognition rather than recall. So recognizing something is easier than remembering it. Minimize the user's memory load by making objects, actions, and options available. The user should not have to remember the information from one part of the dialogue to another, and instructions should be visible. So personing nasa picture, no, when you post sa Facebook, no, kanin yung makita na happy smile, that is pag makita na nato na kabalo na ta nga those are the stickers and mga emojis, and kaning na ay letter A nga number na ay rainbow colors, no, nga background is kabalo na ta nga kana is fonts and color, and kanang something light blue na symbol, it's messenger, and then kanang murag color green, no, nga murag na ay picture, that we already know na kana siya is albums na siya and pictures. Pag imuha na siyang i-press nga button. And here is another example kaning sa Instagram nga button, no. So dali ra gid kay nako siya ma-recognize because I'm also an Instagram user. So kaning murag na ay balay nga symbol, that is home. And then kanang naay magnifying glass is search, no, if ganahan ka mag-search sa mga Instagram profile sa lain tao or sa mga celebrity. And kaning plus sign is if you want to add photos or stories. Ang heart is kanang notification na siya kinsay nag-comment or nag-like sa imong photos, and then kanada yung murag tao-tao is your profile. So mo na kailangan gyud na ma-recognize gyud sa users, no, because recognizing something is much easier than remembering. So use symbols na pag makita na sa user ay kabalo na ko unsay function ana, pag i-press na ko ni kaning murag kaning balay-balay nga symbol diretso ni siya sa home, and if gusto ko i-stalk na ko ako ang K-pop artist, no, nga idol kay nako, so i-press lang nako ng kanang murag magnifying glass na button. So ingana siya, no, ang iyahang example. So now let's move on to theories and ensuring human control while increasing automation with a report by Lordine Duran.
So, hi everyone. So, users can avoid routine, error prone actions and can concentrate in making critical decisions. Users can also make subjective, value based judgments and request help from other humans. The human supervisory role needs to be maintained because the real world is an open system. So, needed gid nato know nga if dili gid nato makaya within our own self, dapat gid nga mag-seek or mag-ask tag help to other people. So, next please. Next please. Okay, thank you. So, air controllers must be present. Nganong need man gyud? Air controller Air traffic controllers must be present to deal with highly variable and unpredictable emergency situations. So, dapat gid nga present gid siya, no, kay dili man gid na tumatag na kung kanus ang emergency mahitabo kay unpredictable man siya. So, value-based judgments, possibly with participation from other controllers, is necessary in this decision-making process. Many real world situations are so complex that it is impossible to anticipate and program for every contingency. So, a tragic outcome of automation occurred during a flight to Cambodia. The pilots relied on the automatic pilot and failed to realize that the plane was making a wide turn. When the ground collision alarm sounded, the pilots were too disoriented to pull up in time. Next, please. So the user interface must be designed and tested for as wide a range of anomalous situations as can be anticipated. Users need to have enough information that key can take responsibility for their actions. So autonomy has a risk of unanticipated situations such as changing weather or unusual trading activity. So advocates of algorithmic accountability want developers who implement systems such as Google search rankings or employee hiring system to enable open access so as to limit bias and expose errors. Many designers believe that tool-like interfaces are often more attractive than autonomous, adaptive, or anthropomorphic agents. So with careful development, useful tools can be developed, but there is little evidence of the benefit of a talking face. Sorry, I'm so sorry. So, robot designers have perennially used human and animal forms as an inspiration. So, as you can see, di ba, human robot, I don't know if nabantayan ba ito ninyo na balita. Katong sa tunga place nga, nag-create sila og human robot nga doctor para mag-assist sa patients and para malas ang kay since rampant man nowadays ang COVID, so para malas ang transmission sa virus. So, some researchers are pursuing human-like robots for care of older adults or as team members. If adaptive systems make surprising changes, users may be puzzled about what has happened. Users seek comprehensible and predictable systems over complex or unpredictable ones. Designers who emphasize a direct manipulation style believe that users have a strong desire to be in the world, to be in control. One goal for the discipline of human computer interaction is to go beyond the specifics of guidelines and build on the breadth of principles to develop tested, reliable, and broadly useful theories. Of course, for a topic as large as user interface design, many theories are needed. Advocates promote autonomy, but this means they must take on the responsibility for failures. Who is responsible when an agent violates copyright, invades privacy, or destroys data? Designers might be better off if they supported performance monitoring while allowing users to examine and revise the current user model. Human computer interface was previously known as the man machine studies or man machine interactions. It deals with the design, execution, and assessment of computer systems and related phenomena that are for human use. HCI can be used in all disciplines, whether there is a possibility of computer interaction installation. So next, please, Joms. Next, please. So theories. So the theories of human computer interface. So some theories are descriptive and helpful in developing consistent terminology and useful taxonomies for objects and actions. Others are explanatory and prescriptive, giving designers clear guidance for their choices. The most precise theories are predictive, enabling designers to compare proposed designs for execution time, error rates, conversion rates, or trust levels. A high quality, next please. A high quality link, sorry, balik sa Jones. Sorry. So a high quality link relative to a task gives users a good sense or indication of what is at the destination. Information foraging theory attempts to predict user success rates given a set of tasks in a website. Taxonomes can be an important part of descriptive and explanatory theories. The science of categorization or classification of things based on a predetermined system. In reference to websites and portals, a site's taxonomy is the way it organizes its data into categories and subcategories, sometimes displayed in a site map. So designers must keep up with rapid developments in software, tools, and design guidelines, but also in theories. Theories of small group behavior, organizational dynamics, and sociology are proving to be useful in understanding social media and collaborative interfaces. So next, please, Jones. So the first theory is the design by level theories. So design by level theory is convenient for designers because it matches the software architecture. User of Paint programs think in terms of sequences of actions and pixels and groups of 3.4 theories, 107 pixels, while users of drawing programs think about sequences of actions and on objects. Design by level is successful even in more complex systems with many objects and actions. Since most objects can be decomposed in many ways, the designer's job is to create comprehensible and memorable level of objects. For example, the human body can be discussed in terms of organs, tissues, cells, and cells. So another example is, are you familiar about the game Fire Boy and Water Girl? This problem solving game will encourage coordination skills and thinking outside the box. And ingenious level design and fan graphics mean that kids will be engaged and entertained while they're being educated. The Fireboy and Water Girl series are fantastic. Aside from it's very easy to use, it also teaches kids the power of teamwork. So the direct manipulation approach to design decomposes goals into many operators, the actions, and then into methods. It is based on goals, operators, methods, and selection rules or the GOMS. Users apply selection rule to choose among the alternate methods for achieving goals. Next, Jones, please. The stages of action theories. So Norman 2013 offers 7 stages of action arranged in a cyclic pattern. As an explanatory theory of human computer interaction, Norman makes a contribution by placing his stage in the context of cycles of action and evaluation, which take place over seconds and minutes. The stages of action theory helps designers to describe user exploration of an interface. As users try to accomplish their goals, there are 4 critical points where user failures can occur. Norman places a heavy emphasis on studying errors, describing how they occur in moving from goals to intentions. Designers know the benefit of a clear stages of action in guiding anxious users through a complex process. Next slide, please, Jones. So, the Amazon.com website converts the checkout process into a comprehensible 4 stage process. Users can simply move through these 4 stages or back up to previous stages to make changes. Next slide, please, Joms. So, the consistency theories. This example illustrates consistency and 2 kinds of inconsistency. A illustrates lacks of consistency, and B shows consistency except for a single value violation. An important goal for designers is a consistent user interface. The argument for consistency is that if terminology for objects and actions is orderly and describable by a few rules, users will be able to learn and retain them easily. Each of the actions in the consistent version is the same, whereas the actions vary for inconsistent version A. The inconsistent action verbs are all acceptable, but their variety suggests that they will take longer to learn, will cause more errors, will slow down users, and will be harder for users to remember. Inconsistent version B is somehow more startling because there is a single unpredictable inconsistency. It stands out so dramatically that this language is likely to be remembered for its peculiar inconsistency. Next, please, Joms. Example to this is YouTube and Gmail because of its consistency of navigation button and layout so that the users will get or use it easily. So, ang YouTube ug ang Gmail is ang consistency niya is ang tungod sa navigation button and layout mas dali ra makasabot ang mga users. So, inconsistency arises in many areas in advanced computing. So, examples include merging information from heterogeneous sources, negotiation in multi agent systems, understanding natural language dialogues, and common sense reasoning in robotics. Inconsistency in elements such as the positioning of buttons or colors will slow users down by 5 to 10%, while changes to terminology may slow users by 20 to 25%. Competing forms of consistency require designers to make difficult choices or invent new categories. Next slide, please, Jones. Thank you, Jones. So, contextual theories, designed by levels, stages of actions, and consistency theories address the specifics of how subjects and actions appear in displays. These theories and design aspect might be called micro HCI since they cover measurable performance in terms of speed and errors. Micro HCI is best studied with the scientific methods of experimental and cognitive psychology. Macro HCI thinking leads to different kinds of theories that might best be called contextual, since they considered the emotional, physical, and social context of use. Happy users will persevere in the face of frustrations, cope with interruptions from neighbors, and ask for help when they need it. So, advocates of contextual theories believe that the turbulence of actual usage means that users have to be more involved in design processes. Contextual theories often emphasize the social environment in which users are engaged with other people who can provide assistance or can be distractions. Understanding the transition from novice to expert and the difference in skill levels has become a focus attention. A detailed record of how tasks are chosen and carried out would lay the basis for interface design. Surveys and interviews can provide quantitative data for much needed theories of how design affects user satisfaction, fear, trust, and cooperativeness. So contextual theories are about how people form intentions, how aspiration crystallize, how empathy is encouraged, and how trust shapes behavior. So, example ani isang TikTok. Kay di ba if mag-sign up ka sa TikTok, if first user ka, if you're very new to TikTok, at first kit if mag-sign up ka, i-ask gid nila if unsa imo mga preferences like sports, like beauty, like comedy, inanha. Dayon, mo din na siya amo gawa sa imong FYP. And aside ana, you can also make interaction between sa comment or just simply made a video to post diha sa TikTok. So, interruptions could be turned off, or users might be given the option of blocking them, as well as easy sharing of screens or texting on a mobile device. If usage outdoors is a requirement, then contrast setting of font sizes should be easily adjustable. If collaboration with others is a high priority, then easy access to other people's screens should be possible. Next slide, Jones, please. Thank you, Jones. So, dynamic theories. Theories of human evolution addresses design for evolutionary development of skills mastery, behavior, change, reputation growth, and leadership capacities. A key aspect of macro HCI is how users evolve over weeks and months, from novices to experts, from new customers to frequent buyers, or from readers of Wikipedia to active collaboration or administrators. Dynamic theories owe much to the theory of adoption or innovation diffusion, according to Rogers 2003, which include five attributes: the relative, compatibility, trial ability, observability, and glass complexity. So in relative advantage, faster, safer, more error-free usage or cheaper. Incompatibility, fitting for users need consistent while with existing values. In trial ability, availability to experiment with innovation. And number four, observability, visibility of innovation to others. And last is the less complexity or the ease of learning and use. Example, ani is, I don't know if familiar ba mo ani, pero since childhood game man siya, sa mo ani Jones, so example, ani is isang Clash of Orcs na dula, which is free ra siya na game and no payment gid siya. Ang dali ra kaayo makasabot ang users unsaon pagdula kay clear kaayong instructions. Naa pud option na pwede ka mag-trial before ka mag-start jud ani nga game. Pero if you are curious, guys, you can also try it. You just type in Google friv.com. That's friv.com. Then after ana mugawas na rin to siya ang mga choices sa games, then scroll lang ka until makita nimo ang Clash of Orcs ng game. So these attributes leads to micro HCI design guidelines, such as suggesting specific user interface features, combining features to make some more visible than others, and providing informative feedback to users about their usage history. Macro HCI design guidelines will suggest ways of training users about features and rewarding them for success. Dynamic theories deal with long term changes in behavior for health or smoking cessation, diet, exercise, or performance in memory games, or education in completing an online course or demonstrating increased familiarity with a body of knowledge. A large category of dynamic theories cover customer loyalty plans that encourage and social engagement features. At early stage, there are user interface design guidelines such as highlighting key features and valuable content. Visionaries see user interfaces as shaping personal processes of mindfulness, reflection, or empathy, and processes of civic participation, democratic sharing, or conflict resolution. And that will be the end of discussion. So thank you and may God bless us all.